Hello and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast about knitting, spinning, and sewing. My name is Tommi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Dynamite Trujillo. You can find my hand-dyed yarn company, Moonstone Dyeworks, at moonstonedyeworks.com. Welcome to episode 46 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you if you are checking out my podcast for the first time, and a big welcome back if you are a returning viewer. Today is a really lovely sunny but cold Friday in December here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. We have a Ravelry group for this podcast that you should go check out and join if you have not yet. It is where you'll find giveaway stuff, knit-along stuff, and a bunch of other fun threads, so go over there, check out what's happening. We are going to be having something happening in the thread this week and the next couple weeks. It is my 1 year podiversary. I am really pretty dang excited about that. It was a year ago that Squirrel Pie Productions first episode went up on YouTube. I believe it was December like 9th or 10th of 2016. And that's like tomorrow or the next day. So it's been a year, you guys. I cannot even believe it. I've been having so much fun doing this podcast. I'm so happy that I've been doing it for a year, and I hope to be doing it for many more years to come. So I am really excited about the podiversary. I'm going to be doing a giveaway in honor of the 1 year anniversary. So it's going to happen in the Ravelry group. There will be a thread open. Go check that out. You will enter to win a skein of Moonstone Dyeworks in a colorway of the winner's choosing, any of my kind of regular repeatable colorways. And go check out the thread in the Ravelry group, and there will be a prompt that you can answer, and I will draw for prizes for that in 2 weeks. So on the next podcast episode, 2 weeks from now, I will be announcing the winner of that. So thank you. Thank you so much to all of my viewers. Thank you to you for coming back and watching every week, no matter if you've been here for the whole year or you're just joining me now. I love it and appreciate it so much. I'm so happy with the community that we've created here, and I am just freaking stoked that we're at our anniversary already. It's so exciting to me. So thank you for that. I did skip recording last week. It turns out December is like a really busy month here at Casa de Trujillo, which I hadn't really realized before, but it totally is. So I skipped recording last week, and I may kind of be switching to an every other week recording schedule just for a little while until things kind of slow down and settle down, and then we'll get back to every week. But I have a feeling I'll be skipping next week too, so just a heads up. Yeah, so let's get straight on into the podcast now with what I'm wearing. I am wearing my Seacoast Pullover, which is one of my very favorite hand knit sweaters. It's a Brooklyn tweed designed by Joji Locatelli, and I knit it out of Stonehenge Fiber Mill in the shepherd's wool base. And it's a really pretty purple colorway. I don't know the colorway name. I don't even know if they have colorway names, but it's a fantastic yarn. It's really great. It's 100% non-superwash wool, and I love it. It's really warm. It's really thick and nice. And the sweater pattern is amazing. It's a top-down yoke sweater, and it's got this really cool slip stitch detail up here at the yoke. And it's really nice and fitted. It's kind of longer than your average like waist length sweater. And it's got these nice long sleeves, and I love this sweater so much. It fits really well, and it's really, really warm, which is just the best. So I love this sweater. I'm wearing it today because it's freaking cold, like I said. So with that, we are going to show you some FOs that I've got, because I have 2 FOs this week, and let's find them. Okay, so the first one is my 12th pair of socks for my box of socks. Dun dun dun. I'm so excited about this. So these are my Lollipop Yarns self-striping socks. This is the Whiskey Bent and Hellbound colorway, and they are done. This is kind of the the Redux version, because when I originally knit this pair of socks out of this yarn, long time ago, years and years ago, I knit them too small. I was still kind of getting my feet wet with the whole sock knitting game and like figuring out how to make socks fit me, and they did not fit. So I never wore them, so I eventually ripped them out and skeined up the yarn again, and now reknit them into some socks that do fit. So I'm super excited. And I did a size 0 for the whole sock, which is unusual for me. I usually do a size 1, but I went down a needle size because the yarn is pretty dang thin. It's thinner than kind of your average. You know, sock weight yarn kind of varies in thicknesses depending on what base you have. And this is one of the really thin ones. It's really fine. So I went down in needle size and went up in stitch count. I did these on a 60 stitch count. And they're just plain vanilla socks with a 2x2 rib. And I did a heel flap and gusset and my rounded toe with the Kitchener finish. And I love them. Here is the other one. And I did the contrasting color for the heel, as you can see here. And I am so excited that this is my 12th pair for my box of socks. I finished it, you guys. Did I finish last year? I can't even remember if I finished it last year, but I finished it this year. I've got 12 exactly pairs of socks in my box of socks. And of course, as I do, I did kind of cheat. I'm not including the socks that I've knit for other people, so I did good there. I have actually 12 pairs of socks that I've knit for myself. But I think some of them are thicker than fingering weight, which I think is a requirement for the box of socks. But I think I've got like a DK, maybe a sport weight, but I'm a cheater. I'm not actually entering anyway because I didn't actually do it, but I'm still so stoked that I've got 12 pairs of socks for myself. They're in the coolest box ever. Should I show them to you today? No, I'm going to show them to you next time because I think my next episode is going to be like my last episode of the year, so I'm going to show them to you next time. But this completes my box of socks, and I'm so excited about that. I think it's so cool that I finished it. So yeah, I love this yarn. Lollipop Yarns is an amazing self-striping yarn dyer. Her updates are pretty coveted. It's kind of hard to get her yarn. I haven't purchased any of her yarn in a pretty long time, but back when I used to buy it kind of regularly, it was pretty hard to get. So she sells on Etsy. I will link to her in the show notes. And I love these socks. I think they're beautiful. I love these colors. They're very 70's couch-tastic, which is like kind of right up my alley. So they make my box of socks complete. So that's my first FO. My second FO is also very exciting. They are Maja's Mamelucker pattern. This is a knitted underpants pattern by Maja Carlson, and I am done with them, and they fit fantastically, and I'm so excited about these. So, like I said, this is a pair of knitted underpants. That's the front. Here is the back, and I knit this out of Moonstone Dyeworks in the Natural Merino base in the Lady Soul colorway, and that is how much I had left over, which I'm really excited about. I was scared I was going to run out of yarn, but I have quite a bit left over. I did significantly go down in size. So the pattern was written for one single size. She does give instructions on how to size down, and if you look in the projects for this pattern, many people provide really fantastic, really detailed notes on how they sized down for their projects. So I kind of took her instructions and took a bunch of other people's project notes, kind of combined those, and then kind of winged it on my own with the numbers and just made my own smaller size. And honestly, I did not take the best notes on what I did. So I'm gonna tell you what I did here, but it's gonna be not that like number accurate. And I am going to try as concisely as I can note what I did in my project notes for this project on Ravelry. But I was really bad about taking notes about the exact numbers, but oh well. So what I did is I knit this thing on a size US 1.5 needle. I did a German twisted cast on, and then this is all 2x2 ribbing. Now, you do 2x2 ribbing for a certain amount of inches or centimeters. I did less ribbing than was called for in the pattern. And then right here, when you switch to stockinette, the pattern tells you to increase a certain amount of stitches at a certain rate. And pretty much, I believe if I remember correctly, what you're supposed to do is have half the stitches for the front and half the stitches for the back. Now, what I did was I increased at a lesser rate around the whole thing, I think. That could be a lie, actually. But what I definitely did was I increased less on the front than I did on the back. And the reason why I did that is because I looked at a lot of projects on Ravelry for this pattern, and honestly, a lot of them seemed to the fabric kind of bunched at the front, kind of where the crotch was. There seemed to be too much fabric there on some of the projects that I saw. So in trying to avoid that, I thought it would be a good idea to have less fabric in the front than in the back, because I feel like my body has less this is weird, has less area on the front than it does on the back, because my back is where my butt is, so there's more stuff back there, you know what I mean? So I increased less on the front, and I think that worked out really well. That, in combination with something else that I did that I'll tell you later on, meant that when I wear these things, the front lies flat. There's no extra fabric bunching, and I'm really, really happy about that, because I really didn't want that. So it's not super, I mean, it's tight. It's a negative ease garment, but it's not like crazy tight. It doesn't like pull really, really hard. But it definitely lies flat, which I'm really excited about. So I increased way less on the front than I did on the back. And I also knit this whole stockinette area. You're supposed to knit, I think it's like 5.5 inches, but I did less than that. I did possibly like 4.5 inches. And there's the back. The crotch area is another part that I altered to try to lessen the bunching at the front. So the way the crotch is done is really interesting. It was really hard for me to kind of visualize it as I was just reading the pattern. And Eva of the Charm of It podcast also knit a pair of these, and I think she kind of had the same issue where she was trying to read ahead in the pattern. And it's just really hard to visualize what you're supposed to do until you just actually do it, until you just follow the instructions and do what she says, and then it's like, oh, that's what you do. So pretty much it's a really interesting construction, and it seems really genius to me because I've never knit like a pair of pants before. But pretty much what you do is you're knitting in the round, and then you take these stitches here when you get to them, and you put them on a separate like double pointed needle. And then you knit those stitches separately on the double pointed needle so that you're pretty much knitting the crotch. And then you take that once you're done, and on the back, you do the same thing you did on the front, where you take a certain set of stitches here, put them on a separate needle, and then you graft them to the crotch stitches that you just created in a strip. And the pattern just said to graft. And then it gave you like a pictorial image of how to graft. And I'm not sure exactly what it was asking me to do, but I did the Kitchener stitch. So it could have been telling me to do the Kitchener stitch, but I just wasn't understanding. But the Kitchener stitch seems like a good thing to do, so that's what I did. And it worked great. So the seam is right here on the back. And the thing that I did differently is that it tells you to put a certain number of stitches on that double pointed needle to create your crotch. And I did less stitches than called for. I think I did like 4 less stitches than called for, because I felt like, I mean, for one, I'm just a really small person. I'm much shorter and smaller than the average person. And I felt like that contributed to some of that bunching that I was seeing in other patterns, is that maybe the crotch was like too wide. So I did less stitches, and it worked out great. It fits really well. And it also, like, you end up doing this ribbing here where you pick up stitches along the legs. So you're adding to the crotch anyway, but you're adding it in ribs. So that part kind of goes down your leg a little bit. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much how it finished off, is after you do the crotch part, you pick up stitches for the ribbing at the leg, and then you're done. And I know they look crazy weird, but they actually look really decent when you're wearing them. I've tried them on. I haven't actually like worn them out and about or around the house or anything, but they're really comfortable. They fit really well. I'm really happy with all the alterations that I made because they just fit perfectly. Unfortunately, I did not get any photos yet. I was really hoping to have a photo taken for you guys of me wearing them so that I could put it here in the podcast, but I have not done it yet. I will do it soon. I definitely want to take some FO pictures, and I'll put them in my project page, and hopefully I'll put them on Instagram too. But yeah, I think kind of what I did is I tried them on over leggings, and I think I might just like be wearing these as like lounge booty shorts or like pajama shorts. So they look really high-waisted. This ribbing here is like super deep, but they really on my body only come up to like just under my belly button, and they fit great. They fit like booty shorts, and I really, really love them. They're comfortable, they're warm. I really, if I do say so myself, love this yarn so much. This is my non-superwash 100% wool base, and it's really nice. It's really soft, really cozy, and I just love how these things came out. I'm so happy with them. So, like I said, hopefully I will be putting up a project page for this that has detailed notes on what I did, and hopefully we'll have a picture soon. And yeah, I seriously think you should knit some. I really, really want more people to knit these because they are so awesome. And they're really fun to wear. They're really comfortable. So Maja's Mameluckers, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. Check it out if you haven't yet. And make yourself some. I did it with one skein of fingering weight yarn. So you might need more than one skein. I don't know. I think a lot of people did need more than one skein, but you might be able to get away with one. Who knows? So that's my other finished object. I'm so stoked about it. I love them. All right, on to what I've been working on. On my needles this week is a brand new sock cast on, and that is living in my super cool, super exclusive Grinch project bag. This is a project bag that is really special. It's a Knit More Along project bag. I won this in a Grinch Along knit along from the Knit More girls ages ago. Years and years ago I won this from them, and I was so excited to get one of these things because they don't make that many of them, and I got one, and I just love it so much. It's got the Grinch on it, and I love the Grinch. The Grinch, the you know, original animated version of it is one of my very favorite Christmas movies of all time. I absolutely love it. So I love this project bag so much, and it's got my Christmas socks living in it. So I could not help but cast on a pair of Moonstone Dyeworks Christmas on Mars colorway. This is my Christmas colorway for this year, and I am so in love with it. So it's kind of got a silver gray base, and it's speckled with aqua and pink and a little bit of red and green, and I love it so much. So I'm knitting my Christmas socks on the Stellina sock base, and here they are. I'm having so much fun with them so far. They're just vanilla socks, which are my favorite, and they're my Christmas socks. My Christmas on Mars socks. So I'm knitting these on a size 1 on my Chiaogu Mini Twist Interchangeable. And I did 56 stitches, 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. And we are just kind of zooming along on some Christmas stockinette over here. So I love these. This is my new sock cast on, and it's satisfying my Christmassy urges. We did get our Christmas tree last weekend, and that was super fun. We put up Christmas lights on our house and put up our Christmas. We have okay, so we live in a college town. The university here has it kind of specializes in the sciences, in the natural sciences, forestry and zoology and botany, everything like that. And the forestry department always sells Christmas trees whenever they can. And when they do, they sell them at the grocery store parking lot, which is like a block away from my house. And I really like their Christmas trees because what they do is they do a lot of regeneration projects in the forests up here. So they'll plant a lot of trees. And I don't know much about it, but when you're replanting new growth in forests, I guess sometimes they need thinning out. So the trees that they sell for Christmas trees are the trees that they've planted that they've needed to thin to let the other ones grow bigger. So I just think that's really cool. And it makes me feel like okay about kind of having a cut Christmas tree in my house, is that, you know, it was cut down for a purpose. You know what I mean? So I love buying from them. But anyway, it's always fun when they do it because they set up, like I said, about a block away from our house. So we just walk there, pick a tree, and then walk it back to our house, and it's always super fun. But we've got that up. It's decorated. I have a pom-pom on the top of it, like I always do. I made a big pom-pom years ago, and I always use it as like my tree topper. And it's been great. So I've been getting super Christmassy up in here with my tree, my lights, my decorations, and my new Christmas socks. I love them. So that's my first sock project. My second sock project. All I have been wanting to do lately is knit on vanilla socks. I don't know what happened to my mojo, but it's like all vanilla socks all the time around here. That's like all I want to do. That's all I have the energy to do, I feel like. It's really weird. So the other vanilla socks that I'm working on are living in my Sugar Tots project bag. And they are my knee-highs. So this is the first one that I've had done for a little while now. And I really, really love how this first one came out. So I'll tell you what I did with this one, and then I'll show you the one I'm working on now. Pretty much, I did not follow a pattern when it came to these. This is my first knee-high socks that I've ever knit. And I kind of just winged it. I kind of made it up, and it ended up working out really well. So I cast on with 64 stitches for the cuff with a German twisted cast on, and 2x2 ribbing. I did a pretty extra long cuff, and I generally do like a longer cuff, but I did kind of an extra long one on this one just because I knew it was going to be up at my calf. And so 64 stitches. I normally do a 56, and then about here-ish I did slowly decrease down to 56 stitches, and then just did 56 stitches up until I got to the top of my heel. I did a heel flap and gusset like I normally do, and a rounded toe with that Kitchener finish like I normally do as well. And they fit really, really great. They're snug enough to stay up if I do wear them all the way up. But they're also not so tight that it's hard to get them up. And they do scrunch down really nicely, which I like if I want that kind of like 80's-tastic vibe to my outfit. And there's a lot of scrunch to them since they're so tall. So they fit really good. I really love them. The yarn that I used is Moonstone Dyeworks again, this time in the Moon Age Daydream colorway. And here's the little cake of what I have left. And this is on my BFL sock base. And I love it so much. So the second one that I'm working on right now, I am pretty far along. Here is what I have so far. So I did the whole leg. I did my heel. There's my heel flap. And I did just finish my gusset decreases. So now I'm onto the foot, and I'm just decreasing for the foot. Or not, I'm just knitting the foot until I get to the toe, then I do that, then I'm done. And I really like these. I like them so much. I want to knit more knee-highs for sure. I'm super into it. I can't wait to wear them. So I think hopefully these will be done pretty soon. I might have a 13th pair of socks for my box of socks. I don't know. We'll see. That would be pretty exciting. But I'm just really enjoying these. I really love this colorway, and I really love the idea of knee-high socks. I think they're going to come in really useful. I think I'm going to get a lot of wear out of them. And because I like wearing boots, kind of like mid-calf boots, not really tall boots, but not like ankle boots either. I have a pair of Uggs, like the kind of standard height Uggs, I don't know, the mid-calf height Uggs, and I adore those shoes. They're like my favorite shoes. If I could wear them to work, I would, but I can't. But I like wearing taller socks with those so that they kind of show through. And my rain boots too are kind of that height, so these will go really good with those, and I cannot wait to wear them. So these are my knee highs. I am knitting these for the Socks in Space Cowl because it's in the Moon Age Daydream colorway. Oh, and my Christmas socks. They qualify too because it's Christmas on Mars. Yay. So anyway, these are my other pair of vanilla socks that I've been working on. I have just, like I said, all I can knit on right now are vanilla socks. That is where all my mojo is right now. I like don't even want to knit on anything else. I just need something, I don't know, really simple, really mindless, where I don't have to think, where I don't have to like concentrate. It's just knit stitch over and over and over. So these have been great for that, especially since there's so much stockinette because they're so long. So yeah, that's my other sock. Yay! Okay, so my next project on the needles is living in my Nightmare Before Christmas project bag with the pink pom-pom on it. And this is another new cast on. This cast on feels a little weird because my intention was to knit it as a white elephant gift exchange gift for my office Christmas party, which is happening today, later tonight. So it's not happening because this is most of the project right here. So let me tell you what kind of yarn I'm using. I'll tell you what pattern I'm doing, and then I'll tell you the weird little story that goes along with it. So I'm using Knit Picks Gloss DK in the fingering weight version. And Gloss DK is a merino wool and silk blend from Knit Picks. Now I bought this yarn eons ago. So long ago when gloss first came out with the intention of knitting a 3-color cashmere shawl, cowl. 3-color cashmere cowl, which is what I'm doing now. The thing is though, this yarn sat in my stash for so long, I ended up falling out of love with it. I don't really like it anymore. I don't know, I'm not that into the feel of it anymore. I'm not a huge silk fan, honestly, so I'm just not that interested in it anymore, pretty much. So I never wanted to knit with it for myself, so I figured a gift knit would be perfect. So I started the 3-color cashmere cowl with this yarn, and what this is Knit Picks Gloss fingering. Knit Picks Gloss fingering. Man, I'm out of practice. This is the dough colorway. This is the guava colorway. And this is the timber colorway. And I am using the 2 browns as like kind of the main stripy colors and the pink as the color pop that's going to come in later. So this is what I have so far. And it's a cowl, it's just knit in the round. It's a pretty long cowl, so it scrunches up a lot when you wear it. And I am knitting this on a size 3 Haya Sharp interchangeable set needle. And I've got my Lost and Fond Panda Bear on here. So I started this cowl with the intention of it being for the White Elephant gift exchange at my office Christmas party. And I started it last weekend, thinking I had a couple weeks till the Christmas party. And then on Monday, I went to work and found out that it was today. So at that point, I had like 3 days to finish it. And so I totally gave up on it. I lost all steam. I was like, never mind, I'm not going to finish it. I don't even want to work on it anymore. I'm like not into the yarn. And so I kind of didn't care about it anymore. And I was thinking about just like letting it languish, just like letting it sit in the corner forever. But I decided I needed to continue knitting it for somebody. Like somebody could use it as like a gift, right? But the thing is that everybody in my life, like family members who I could knit Christmas gifts for, I have already. And they don't really wear them. Like they're not really, I don't know, you know, I've knit shawls and cowls for all the women in my family and stuff. And I've knit multiple shawls and cowls for all of them over Christmases and stuff. And I don't think any of them really wear shawls and cowls that much. So this isn't going to be for any of them. I decided though that I think it'd be good for one of my coworkers whose birthday is in February, because I do always knit something for the White Elephant Gift Exchange at Christmas, and she always wants it and never gets it. So I think I'm just going to keep knitting it and give it to her for her birthday. So that's kind of inspiring. I'm motivated to do it again. But it might still languish for a little bit. I might put it down for a little while. But so that's my 3-color cashmere cowl in Knit Picks gloss fingering. And we'll see how long it takes me to knit that. But I started it last weekend. And my last work in progress is the big ol' sweater, the Brownstone pullover that I am knitting for my mother's boyfriend for Christmas. And I'm knitting it out of Cascade 220 Superwash in navy and silver gray. And I have joined the sleeves to the body, you guys. This thing is really becoming a sweater. For reals. It's really hard to show all in one piece because it's so wonky right now. But pretty much here it is. I've got the body done. I've got the sleeves joined to the body. And I have separated for this front piece that's kind of, it's a cowl neck pullover. So the cowl comes down pretty deep. So I separated for that part right there. And that's what that is. And so now I'm working flat across a whole bunch of stitches. And it's just back and forth stockinette. I am going to be doing short rows pretty soon for the upper back. And then I'll be doing the yoke decreases, binding off, doing the shawl collar, and then I'm done. So close. I am so close to being done with this thing. So I'm pretty excited about that. This is a pretty big and kind of boring knit. So I'm really excited about being close to being done with it. It's been really easy to work on. It's just, you know, when you're not that motivated, you know. But it is really easy. It's just stockinette. All you're doing is following instructions for construction, pretty much. And it's coming along. I know I was complaining about the black hole of stockinette when it was stockinette in the round, but I miss that now because now it's the black hole of stockinette flat. So I miss my in the round days with this thing. But like I said, this is the Brownstone pullover. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern by Jared Flood. And I think I'm doing the extra large size, I'm pretty sure. And I'm knitting this on a size 7 from my High Sharp interchangeable set. So this is happening. It's got sleeves, and soon it's going to have a yoke, and then I'm going to be done, and it's going to be awesome. And this is going to be his Christmas present, so I need to get it done soon. So I will be working on this like a madwoman this week. And that's all my works in progress this week, you guys. That's what I've been knitting on, and like I said, mostly Sock Mojo, and that is it. The other projects I've been kind of like about. And I have noticed that I haven't had a shawl on the needles for like a long time. My last shawl that I knit was the Marled Magic, and that was a little while ago now. I think this is definitely the longest I've ever gone without having a shawl on the needles. And it's sad. I just can't, I don't know, I don't feel inspired by anything right now. I've tried like looking up shawl patterns and like looking at shawl yarn, and I don't know, I just can't put anything together right now. It's like nothing's clicking for me. But I really hope to get my shawl mojo back soon, because I am a shawl knitter. I adore knitting shawls. And it's really sad that I haven't had one on the needles for so long. So I hope to find one soon. What do you guys think I should knit? Do you, like, what shawl pattern, what shawl yarn are you like really excited about right now? I need some inspiration because I really want to knit a shawl. And I just can't find one right now. I don't know, I just feel kind of blah about it. Which is so weird. But anyway, I gotta find a shawl. Okay, so I did do some spinning. Can you believe it? I can't. I am working on, let's see, what have I got here? I was working on my Moon Rover fiber. I have got this bobbin done. And this is Moon Rover fiber in a club colorway that is unnamed, but it's superwash merino and nylon. And what I did is I split the braid this way as opposed to this way. So I split it lengthwise into, I think, 3 sections. I spun all the singles just back to back that way. So it's in one long striping progression on this one bobbin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain ply it. So hopefully I'm going to get a self-striping sock yarn. And I hope to have enough to knit a pair of knee-high socks. So I've got all the spinning done, and now I just need to ply it. Hopefully I'll do that soon, and I will have a finished skein of hand spun to show you soon. I really, really hope so. But I really, really loved this fiber. It's these really cool, like, it's got a lot of different colors in here. There's pinks and oranges and a lot of grays and a little bit of blue. The blue right here is pretty occasional. And my favorite color in here that's hidden right now is like a bright chartreuse greeny yellow. It's really, really pretty. So I'm really excited about this. And yeah, hopefully I'll apply it this weekend. I got my fingers crossed for myself to do that. I do have my next spinning project planned. Let me show you, I'll be right back. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but last year maybe, I don't know, sometime earlier this year, I wanted to knit the Sonder shawl, which is a bulky weight shawl pattern by Helen Stewart. And I don't really have any bulky weight yarn in my stash, so I wanted to spin some, and I was going to spin some natural alpaca. And I did a little bit, and I got bored with it. I fell out of love with it. I didn't really like the fiber. So I gave up on that project. But what I've done is I've pulled these 2 braids of fiber from my stash, and I think I'm going to ply them together into a bulky weight. So I think it's going to be really bright and really pink and really crazy, and I'm really excited. So this one is Julie Spins Falkland, and this one is Spun Right Round Rambouillet. So super pink and super neon. I think these are going to be an awesome bulky weight yarn, and I cannot wait to knit a Sonder shawl out of it. There's tassels. Can't wait. So hopefully that happens right after this spinning project, so I don't like lag in between and lose mojo. I don't know. But that was my spinning. I was pretty happy with what I got done this week. Let's move on to shop update. I am going to be having a shop update for Moonstone Dyeworks at moonstonedyeworks.com and the Etsy shop tomorrow, which is Saturday, December 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to be having lots of my new Pulworth DK base, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to show you the colorways I dyed up. Got a lot of stuff here. So, let's try to get it. Okay. Okay, so for the update tomorrow, I have got both of my Christmas colorways, which are, this is so hard. Why did I bring so much yarn? Okay, you ready for it? You ready? Where is everything? I think I'm losing stuff. Okay, so I will have Frostbite, which is one of my holiday colorways for this year. I will have Christmas on Mars, which is what I was knitting my Christmas socks out of. I will have Stone Cold Manners, which is my A Court of Thorns and Roses inspired colorway. And I will have Floating, which is one of my favorite oldie colorways, one of my very first colorways I created. It's like kind of lavender and hot pink and this like muted kind of sagey foresty green and like gray tones. I really like that one. I feel like it's really wintry. So that's everything that's going to be going up in the shop. Those 4 colorways across all of my bases. I'll have Stellina sock, VFL sock, Natural Merino, Polworth DK. So check that out tomorrow at the Etsy shop or just at moonstone-dyeworks.com. And I hope to see you there. It is going to be my last shop update of 2017. After this one, I'll be skipping the 2 weeks after that because it'll be right around Christmas. And then my first update after that will be in early January. So if you want to snag some Christmas colorways, now is the time to do it. And that is it for shop update. Hope to see you there. Let's see, for favorites, I did buy some yarn. I got it in the mail yesterday. I was so excited. I am so excited about this. This, you guys, is my very first skein of Nomadic yarns. And I got the Dobby is a Free Elf colorway. Oh, and I just am so in love with it. I kind of fell in love with this colorway watching Stress Knits, Stacy's podcast. She knit a pair of socks out of this color, and they're just like all my favorite colors. It's hot pink, it's teal, it's gray, and it's brown. Those are literally my 4 favorite colors. So I'm really excited about this yarn. I have never used Ashley's yarn before, but I've always admired it from afar. And I'm just stoked to be able to knit a pair of socks. So now I've got another pair of socks that is in my list of socks that I need to knit. It's ever expanding, of course, and I cannot wait to knit these. I can't wait. So check it out. She dyes gorgeous self-striping yarn, and she dyes all kinds of Harry Potter inspired colorways, which is like the best. So that's it. That's it for my favorite this week, is I bought yarn, and it's amazing. So I think I'm going to leave you guys there. I am so happy to be back this week talking to you guys about what I've been working on. Tell me about what you've been working on in the YouTube comments below or in the Ravelry group for this thread. I want to know about what you're knitting, what you're spinning, what you're crocheting, what you're making right now. Tell me about it. Show me pictures. We want to see. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I hope winter is treating you well. I hope your holidays are going really great, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. I hope your December is wonderful. And I will see you guys probably in 2 weeks. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not yet. And go join that Ravelry group. Go check out the giveaway thread because I'm giving away some yarn. And I hope you guys have an awesome time this next week. Have fun and stay awesome. Bye, guys.